Hi my loves, and welcome to your cosmic weather report for the week ahead. I want to give you a couple of little heads up at the start of this weather report this week because we have a lot of Uranus energy. Now, Uranus is a planet of liberation, freedom, awakening, truth, the true meaning of life. But Uranus is also the planet that can bring a lot of change and disruption and the sense that everything is kind of shifting and moving, lots of sudden changes. Now, just remember that none of the planets do anything to us, as much as we all like to blame Mercury retrograde and the moon and things like that. And I know it's all a lot of fun. But the planets don't actually do anything to us. What they do is highlight for us, illuminate for us something that's already in there. Because remember, your birth chart is a blueprint, your soul's blueprint of when you come to Earth. Your soul chooses the exact moment to come to Earth based on that particular birth chart. That tells you then all you need to know about what you're going to need to overcome in this life, the lessons, the challenges, the positive aspects. It's going to tell you everything. And so when then we begin to interact with the planets as they kind of transit our charts and things, it's all helping us to come back more into alignment with the path our soul chose for us this lifetime. So the planets don't actually do anything to us and like, oh, Uranus is doing this to me. Uranus is illuminating something that's already within or happening in your life that you need to know about for your own good and your own growth. And so what Uranus will do is come in and really shake you awake. So Uranus shows us anywhere that we're staying small and stuck and afraid and held down, Uranus wants to free us. Uranus wants to free you to be all of you, to be all of who you came here to be, to do all that you came here to do. So anywhere that you're shrinking and you're not allowing yourself to grow and to learn and to evolve and to move along your soul's path, Uranus will shake things up. So Uranus brings really sudden, quick changes in life that will feel sometimes quite scary for human you, where human you is like, oh my gosh, why is all this happening? All this change is happening so quickly. And this feels like it's falling apart. And this feels like it's crumbling down. And this feels like it's happening. And all Uranus is trying to do is get you to see those things you're maybe holding on to out of a false sense of security, or where you're gripping and clinging over here. But if you just let go, there's something way better and way more freeing and way more in alignment with who you are over there. So we might begin this week, especially as we start the week with Mercury square Uranus, with a little sense of like the ground is shifting beneath our feet. And it can sometimes bring up that kind of little bit of a nervous tension in your belly where you're like, am I scared? Am I excited? Like, I don't know which it is. I just know that I'm feeling something in here. So first of all, I want to tell you, see it as excited. If you're feeling that little thing in your belly, tell yourself it's excitement. Because what this is going to bring is now a sense of anticipation of what's to come. And what this is really doing for us as we've now moved past Imbolc, so we've gone past now that cross-quarter festival between the winter solstice and the spring equinox. We're moving now towards spring. Not that the weather would know it today, but we're moving towards spring. And so this Uranus energy at the beginning of the week is really helping to start to wake you up. So remember at Imbolc, we talked about all the seeds beneath the surface and in nature and in you are beginning to stir and awaken. The Uranus now is going to start to gently shake you awake. Like, it's time to wake up now. It's time to begin to go back out there in the world now. It's time to begin to no longer hide here under the duvet. You've got work to do. You've got stuff to do out there. And so there's going to be this sense in your belly of like that anticipation, like something's coming, something's happening, as Uranus tries to kind of really, as I say, shake you awake. Now, this in itself could start to bring already those changes. A lot of what's happening at the start of this week is really preparing us for quite a big Leo full moon that we've got in the middle of the week. And so as we feel this stirring and awakening, you might find shifts and changes happening in your life that are showing you those areas of your life that need a little bit of a shake-up. If your relationship's got a little bit stagnant, if your job's got a little bit stagnant, If you've got a little bit stagnant and you've got stuck in a mindset of like, oh, nothing ever works anyway, or why bother, or the world's a mess, you're just going to feel this little shake up and things starting to shift and change to show you these life areas now need a little bit of your attention. They need you to begin to see things differently. One thing Mercury square Uranus is incredible for is that ability to see things differently. So if you've had things in your life that you've looked at and you've been like, oh, this is rubbish and I'm stuck in this same job forever, and it's just going to help you to see that bigger picture, to see what could be possible, to see things in a different way, to see what you haven't seen before. So I want you to really notice where you're limited in your thinking, where you've limited your thinking, and begin to expand it. And well, let me just look at this in a different way. And if I maybe look at it from this angle, or I look at it from this angle, how can I see this in a different way to the way I've just been seeing it? So really expand into your thinking. The only thing I'd like to say to you around Monday, around the beginning of the week, is just be a bit mindful with your words, because Mercury square Uranus can be a little bit sharp, a little bit of a truth teller, but not in a kind way. And sometimes we do just need to tell the truth, but just be mindful how you're saying it, because Uranus is just going to have you like boom, 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 and another thing, and another thing, and another thing, and another thing. And so if you're feeling a lot of truth rising in you, where you're feeling like, I need to say something about this, take a moment with it first, land in your heart first, and then allow it to be spoken through, so that you're not just going to blurt out something that later on you're going to look back and go, oh, I just wish I'd softened that a little bit. Speak your truth. Please, please, please do not hold down your truth this week. Speak it. But speak it in a way that's kind is all I'm going to really ask you, because you might find yourself at the beginning of the week really just wanting to get certain people in your life told. Tell them in a way that's still loving. Now, Tuesday then, we get the Sun square Uranus. So this is going to just bring a really big shake-up of you. Monday might bring more of a shake-up of your life, where you start to look at your outside life and go, well, that just feels really stale and stagnant in my life, and that place in my life feels a bit stale and stagnant, and that does. When the Sun meets Uranus, that's going to bring the energy into you. Where do you need shaking up? Where have you got stuck and stale and stagnant? Where have you not been growing, evolving, moving forward? Where are you not free? Where are you holding yourself down? Where are you holding yourself back? And again, this can bring sudden changes and sudden things that suddenly challenge your mindset, or your way of thinking, or the way you've been doing things, or your beliefs. This is a really good chance to just look into yourself and go, where have I put limitations on what's possible for me? Where have I told myself I can do that, but only to that level? Where have I stopped dreaming? Where have I stopped believing? Where have I shrunk and made my world really small? This is a chance now to free yourself into something much bigger. Now, this is all going to be really important, because on Wednesday we get the Leo full moon. And this full moon is going to be a huge full moon. It's going to shine a big light on our lives. And what this moon is mainly going to ask of us is to begin to allow yourself to shine, to see where you've been dimming your shine, where you've been holding yourself back, where you've been keeping yourself small, where you've been moving onto the sideline of your own life and let other people and the world around you and everything run your life. And it's going to ask you to take center stage in your own life again. Now, this full moon is also going to work with Uranus quite powerfully. And so one of the really big things this full moon is going to illuminate is where you are not being yourself, where you are not being authentic and in integrity and in congruence with yourself and who you truly want to be. Anywhere that you are pretending, morphing, hiding, dimming, censoring, is going to be really, really obvious. And so this is a moon now that's asking you to really free yourself to be yourself, start to express yourself, start to shine your light, start to take center stage of your own life. And it's a lot as well about coming back to the heart and allowing your heart to begin to lead the way forward. So very often we're ruled by our heads. And as we try to move forward and make a decision from our head will tell us all the reasons why not and all the problems and We need to start to drop our awareness back into our heart and begin to let our heart lead. And that's going to be one of the big messages from that Leo full moon. Now Friday, then we get a really kind of sweet end to the week. Everything gets wrapped up in a really sweet way on Friday when we get Mercury moving into Pisces, and obviously it's Valentine's Day as well, the day of love. Mercury moving into Pisces is going to bring an energy of feeling rather than thinking. So we're going to be brought very much into our feelings, our intuition, our heart, our deep inner knowing, and dropping out of our heads and into the true wisdom that lives in our hearts and in our bodies. I've spoken to you many times before about how the heart is the place that your soul whispers to you, hoping you will listen. So Mercury in Pisces is going to help us to really listen to those whispers of our heart and our soul. It brings warmth and compassion and this gentle energy. And it also brings an energy of dreaming and visualizing and imagination. And so if at the start of the week you've realized that there are changes that need to be made, you've seen the areas in your life that have been shaken up, it's maybe been a little bit of a shock as these things have started to shift and change, and human news been like, oh my goodness, all of this is changing, like I don't know what to do with this, I don't know what to do about this, everything just feels like it's changing too quickly around me. Mercury in Pisces then is going to give you the ability to dream a new future, to vision a new future, to think, okay, these changes are happening. So rather than seeing them as being a bad thing and trying to fight against them and getting all worried about them and wanting to go back to the way things used to be, instead, let me start to dream a new future. Let me start to visualize what might be possible. Let me get lost in my imagination and let my imagination begin to speak to me of what life could look like. So it's such a beautiful time to dream and to visualize and to create and to really be in that heart energy and soul energy and the energy of your body, and to feel rather than think. So if you've got decisions to make or choices to make, or there is a change happening, you're not sure what to do with it, don't think your way through it. Feel your way into it. Take it into your body. Take the questions into your body and find the answers in here as well. It's going to really help us to drop into our deep wisdom and inner knowing. And on that same note, it gives you almost like psychic abilities where you're able to see beyond what might currently be being shown to you. And so you might be hearing someone say certain words to you, but you're like, there's more behind these words, and you can just feel the energy of things. So rather than what seems to be there in front of you, you're going to feel the energy behind everything, the energy behind people's words, people's actions, the energy behind choices. It's just a really beautiful time to tap into all of which cannot be seen, everything that cannot be seen by our human eyes and heard by our human ears, but can be felt by our spiritual heart and felt by our soul self. It's an opportunity to really give up with the thinking. Like if thinking hasn't been working for you, if trying to solve things in here hasn't been working for you, if going round and round and round and round about a problem, trying to find a solution, trying to find an answer, trying to figure out what to do hasn't been working for you, feel it instead. Do it differently. Try to drop into here, take it in, and see if you can find a different solution or answer that maybe you hadn't thought of, because the wisdom had been in here all along, just waiting for you to drop in and access it. So it's going to be a really beautiful week. As I mentioned, just please be mindful that there might be a lot of things feeling like they're changing. The ground might feel a little bit unsettled between your feet, like I was on solid ground and now I feel like I'm not. But just go within, be in your center, be in your truth, be in who you are, be in what you want, and you will navigate this beautifully. And remember that anything that feels like it's shifting and changing is only doing that because it's showing you something that wasn't stable to begin with. So the only things that are going to feel like they're shifting and changing are things in your life that weren't stable, that weren't grounded in, that weren't perhaps for the long term in the current form that they're in. And a change needed to be made or needs to be made in order for things then to align to help you to move forwards to where you need to go. So nothing's going to shift and change unless it actually needs to shift and change. So the more you can again try to go with those shifts and change rather than digging your feet in, the easier then you're going to find it. And the more easily then that Mercury in Pisces energy can come through and help you to follow it. So I wish you a beautiful week ahead, so much love, and I'll be back next week.